Hello, I'm Ali.
And I'm her best friend, Em.
This is She Said, She Said.
Join us for our ritual Wednesday evening glass of wine as we talk about the highs and lows of life as two foreign ladies living in France.
Think of this as the group chat you actually want to be on, where we talk about all the plates we're spinning and occasionally dropping.
We'll also give you the best tips we've learned from over a decade living among the Frenchies.
C'est parti!
Hello.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. You were looking glowing.
That's me being 38.
Is it? Is that what 38 does to you?
Yes. We've been absent, dear listeners, because we were very much celebrating our birthdays.
We're both April girlies, aren't we?
Yeah, they're the best ones.
Honestly, April is the best month to have your birthday.
You know,
April and May.
whatever life phase I've been, I've always met like friends, and most of the time, the ones I'm closest to are all April girlies.
Is it?
It's crazy, huh?
We both got a year older, or celebrated getting a year older.
Yes.
Some
celebration was being had.
It was had. We are moving closer to the 40, the big 40.
Yes.
Slowly
going there.
Very slowly.
Ransom.
That's why we've been away. We've been celebrating our birthdays. We've been going on lots of holidays, which are really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have some nice holidays?
Yeah, I had some nice holidays surfing with my whole family.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. I'd love to see that image.
I managed to take one single picture where everyone just like was running out of the house in wetsuits. That is the only proof I have of this actually having happened. But
I'm so impressed that you get like your 3 kids and yourselves out either skiing or surfing. I just don't know how you do it, honestly.
You just have to forget about all the hassle it was to get there, and then it has to be worth it. But it usually is, so it was good.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Do you have a show and tell?
I do have a show and tell.
Okay.
So generally, I don't know if I said this on this podcast before, but generally for me as a German person in France, there's like a couple of times a year where it's just a little bit odd, since my kids are in school, that we are German, because my kids hear a lot of the history of the First and the Second World War in school, right? And so it's like, when they're small, they only know who are the baddies and who are the goodies, right? So the baddies were the Germans and the goodies were the French, and their allies.
The French history class,
yes, and that is what's taught. And so my kids have always been a bit like, I don't want to be German. I don't want to be a baddie, And so, it's difficult to explain when they're small to kind of say, that it's not everyone and it's not today. But I mean, that there is some collective, guilt still being felt in Germany. And so, you can't really go into too much detail with it. Maybe I should read up on how to talk to my kids about it. But anyway, a couple of times a year, my kids will, with the class, or have to go to, some monument that represents all the people of the village who've died in First or Second World War, and that stuff. And so one little garden is next to my son's school, and the other day, it's like it's closed off and it's next to the street. But sometimes he's like, while you go get the other ones, can I just go play there? Because some of his friends go play in that garden. And it's like you have the monument, the Monument aux Morts, so the one I think for Second World War victims of the village, and then you have the garden around it. And so he'd been playing there, and I went and got my daughter, and then my other son that came back down, and I was like, where is he? And I was calling him, and there's like loads of bushes, so he's like playing with his friends and all. And then eventually he comes back and comes out and was like, what were you doing? And he was like, I was having a shit. Like, what? He shat at the foot of the monument. So no, I won't get into too much detail about this little German boy and the symbolic of the whole thing, but it was like, what
It's like,
did you do?
what?
He's like, don't worry, nobody saw me. I was like, but that's not the point. You can't shit in a garden. And not in that one.
Yeah, not that specific garden especially. Oh my God. That's so
So
funny. Oh my God.
that
But I
happened.
guess like for him, he doesn't know the symbolism of that.
No, no,
That's very
he
funny.
obviously doesn't, and I didn't say anything about that at that point, but it was just thought,
Oh my
thinking
Lord.
about it later, I was a bit like, wow, that is a new level of, you know, disrespecting history.
Oh my God. That's so good. That is a no problem guy. That is very
Yep.
funny. Oh man.
Mm,
Great show and tell. Love it.
yeah. We do have something more to discuss, right? I think because we have 2 more days until
Yes.
you're doing your first High Rocks competition.
So things have escalated on the High Rocks front quite dramatically since Ali took me to one class. I think the last time we spoke about it on the podcast,
You were coming
I
to
was
the
coming to
training,
try
right?
one class. So
Mhm.
now we're doing a whole High Rocks competition on Saturday,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
quite intimidating.
Well, between then and now, you've also enrolled and kind of have an idea about what the thing is, right? And like what it does to your body. You've been
Yeah.
running really quickly. People in the class have been like, oh my God, she's running so fast.
Yeah, but I haven't been running. So a High Rocks competition is like 8 kilometers, and then you do kind of like a strength exercise in between. I haven't
Yeah.
been doing that. So
Yeah.
please
Yeah,
wait for
no,
me.
that's what we train for. That we do. I mean, we don't do the whole thing, obviously, but you never do the whole thing. Like you don't run a marathon before running a marathon. So,
True.
yeah, I mean, you run a bit, and then you do your exercises, and because you do the exercises that like I don't know, like weighted lunges or something like that. Then after that, you obviously have to run, but then you run under fatigue, basically.
Yeah.
So that makes a difference. But that's what we train for. I mean,
Well, we'll see how it goes. I feel like it could either go one way in that, because we're doing it together, which is great. That's
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
think I'd ever do that alone. I was just like that. There's just no point in doing that.
well, it's coming to be a bit fun, like, and
Yeah,
yeah, like a bit of a challenge together, but you can swap in and out, right? So
yeah,
we could do like half of the exercise, or you could do more, I could do more. So that
yeah. We
I'm
just
kind
have
of
to
thinking,
run together. Mm,
yeah, you're going to be
mm,
like dragging you around the last bit.
mm-mm, I don't
Oh
think
my,
so. No, no,
oh
no.
my.
I think you'll be surprised. I think it'll be really good.
I'm ready to have epic cramps on Sunday. Big old cramps.
Oh,
But
I don't think so.
we'll see. So we're high
Yeah,
roxing. We're
I'm
leaning into the
harassing.
millennial
Yes,
stereotype in a big
yes,
way.
very much. Where apparently you either separate or you high rocks. So we separate. We high rocks.
We separate. Sorry, guys. I gave in my wedding papers today, so
Okay,
that's
so
not
definitely not separating. Okay.
definitely not separating yet.
Hmm.
Although you do, quite surprisingly, when you're going to get married, have to think about divorce quite a lot too. Or you probably
Oh
should,
yes,
you know,
yeah.
because you're like, do we want to do like
A prenup
a
or something.
prenup? Do we want to do
Mm,
this kind of stuff? And that's supposed
mm,
to be you like,
yeah. It's
probably
it's the
should.
very unromantic part of
Yeah.
the wedding. Mm.
And then the solicitor's like, well, if you did split up, what would you want to keep? And you're like, oh, well, it does feel quite, quite weird
It's
to be
just
like,
wrong to think about it, yeah, but like, I mean, I guess you just like know that like you just have to always think like anything can happen. You don't want to be thinking about that ever, but yeah. Although I saw something of like that could have been my show and tell as well. I saw something of like this a French philosopher. He wrote a book leading us into our topic today. So this guy wrote a book about relationships and romantic relationships, and his point is basically saying that romantic relationships are never easy. Like the media and movies and everything is making us believe that romantic love can be uncomplicated and easy and whatever, and his take is basically you just have to don't think about finding the right person and making the right decision and all of that, but more making a decision and then working towards that decision. Yeah, I thought that was very well said, because I do think the secret to people having lasting relationships is probably the amount of work they want to put in it.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah.
You both need to be bought in, definitely. That was
Mhm.
a beautiful segue into our topic for today.
Yes, books that we
Books
love.
that we love, that changed our life, that we love.
That put a little bit of pressure on you, so I'm not going to say that changed our
I
lives,
could
but
think it.
I mean, the two that I have chosen definitely are books that I think one of them is just like, whoever asks me, what's your favorite book? I always say that book, so it's easy.
Okay.
And the other one, I think, changed my life in a way that changed a little bit who I am and the way I look at the relationships in my life. And so that kind of like did change my life. So
Okay.
probably also changed your life because you chose the same one.
Is it about parenting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's okay. Do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, sure. So that book is called The Book You Wish Your Parents Had Read, and Your Children Will Be Glad That You Did. And it's by a British
Yeah. So known, yeah.
psychologist
Mm.
called Philippa Perry. And I think it might already be quite old, right? I think this was written a while ago. Let me see.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
so. It's at least 10 years old, I want to say, something like that.
oh no, wait. First published 2019.
Was it?
Was it? Well, then we just probably were on it straight
You
away.
just immediately read it because that's when our kids are born
Right.
that year.
Well, that's what's written in it. So yeah,
Okay.
I guess so.
Oh, fair enough. I thought it
Um,
was before that because I thought I'd kind of heard echoes of it before I had kids. But okay. This
yeah,
one is really good. I feel like it takes a lot of the guilt out of parenting. That's it.
loads. And
Um,
it's also not only parenting, right? I mean, we read it because if it came out in 2019, you were just about to be a first mom,
yeah,
and I'd already been for a couple of years. And that's why we probably read it at that point. But it does help with any relationship, doesn't it? It just gives so much valuable advice about thinking about who you are, why, how your upbringing made you the person you are today,
yeah,
and
for sure.
like what that means for what you project into other people as well, right?
Definitely. Yeah. That's really well summarized. I think it was quite life changing for me because it was maybe the first time I kind of started to be a bit aware of kind of like what you look at in therapy with like how all your experiences as a kid later on shape you basically. And it did for me make me a lot less kind of reactive with my kid because I read it when my youngest was kind of 1.5 and he was like he had a really, really fiery temper. Like it was a time when he was having 20 tantrums a day. We would try and leave our apartment and it was tantrum on the before we left, in the lift on the way down, as we got into the lobby. Like it was full on. And I think it made me really kind of conscious of how I was reacting to him and in kind of social situations as well. How you react to your kids in social situations is so ingrained. It's you, it's not them.
Yeah,
That's a really good thing to have in your mind as a parent, I think, is you're
yeah,
projecting onto them a lot of the time.
yeah, so much. So yeah, that one definitely goes down. I feel like that is also one that I maybe should read again. It kind of lays down a foundation,
Mm.
and that foundation, that's why I'm saying like that. I find, yeah, it was very strong. I think she has just a couple of moments where she gives you like exercises, basically saying like, okay, now observe this in everyday relationship. Feel for someone else. Practicing feeling how somebody else feels will make it easier to do when a real situation arises. Think about a person or a group of people who have come to a different conclusion to you about something. Say, for example, they vote differently to you. Rather than dismissing them as stupid, think about their circumstances, their hopes, their fears. Put yourself in their shoes and try to understand why they have reached a different decision to you. Feel with them about how they feel. Empathy is harder work than it may at first seem. It is not about giving up your own point of view, but about truly seeing and understanding why the other feels as they do, and most importantly, feeling with them. So that was one of the exercises. So it's just
That's so
so
good.
right. It's just so true. It's just like I feel like if everyone read this book and people would be like emotionally intelligent enough. I think this is like, yeah, this might be it. It's like this is a book that really helps you becoming more emotionally intelligent.
For
I think
sure,
if
yeah.
more people were like that, we probably would have much less um, shit going on in the world.
I can think of a few world leaders who could probably have used reading that book. I don't know if it would
Yes.
have helped. I'm not sure if it
Too late
helped with
now.
deep-seated
Probably.
narcissism, but it's
Yes.
too late. But yeah,
Mhm.
okay. No, you've reminded me as well to reread it again. I think I will do. I recommended it to quite a lot of people after I'd read it and was kind of raving about it. But I think maybe it was kind of a lot of people who were on maternity leave at the same time as me, and they were like, "Oh, I can't read a parenting book and be on maternity leave at the same time." And I was like, "No,
Yeah.
it's not. It's not about parenting,
Yeah.
really. It's about like
Yeah.
introspection and
And yeah, relationships in general, like any relationship, right? I mean, the part that I just read is it's just about people, just about how to communicate with other people, and that
yeah,
is in any context. That can be at work, that could be with your partner.
yeah, yeah, yeah."
Um, yeah.
I've got a book that's kind of on the same lines. And I do really like it. I don't know if has it changed my life. It's made me like definitely see things in a different way and made me want to do different things in my life. So I think that's quite important. And I finished it like last week, so
Mhm,
it's really kind of fresh in my mind.
mhm,
Um, there are some things in it that I kind of question or I'm not sure about, but I think it's a really like good read. It makes you it's very confronting, and it's
mhm,
called Moral Ambition.
mhm,
It's by a Dutch guy, I think. He's called Rutiger. I'm going to get this right. You probably should have read this. Rutger Bregman.
mhm,
But it's really good because it's kind of it looks at how society and kind of ultra capitalism has pushed us into this way where all of people's value is how much they can work and how much money they can make and that kind of thing, and no one's thinking about who it's helping, and it's basically kind of a plea for people to be more morally ambitious. So
mhm,
just to try and do good and be
mhm,
ambitious to do good rather
mhm,
than to earn money and like
mhm.
that kind of thing. And it is quite confronting because the first chapter is like, there are so many people doing jobs that mean nothing. And it kind of goes through
It's
jobs and stuff. And it's a
mm,
bit like, what does my job mean? Do you know, it would just
mm,
make you like it just make you think, what is it worth?
mm,
But
mm,
actually by the end I found it quite positive and
mhm,
quite like hopeful because it
mhm,
does give you it gives quite concrete things that you can do, and it's quite it's also very much, it doesn't say like go and volunteer in a soup kitchen. It's like think about what problems you can realistically help,
mhm,
whether that's in your circle, whether it's in your community or that kind of thing. And
mhm.
it says it's just basically kind of like motivating people to do that. So I think it's a
Nice.
really cool book to read,
Okay.
honestly. It is very good.
Sounds interesting. Mm.
Um,
Is there anything that you are changing since you've read it?
yeah, I'm thinking about what I can actually change. I'd really
Mhm,
like to do something in my community now for
mhm,
like some of the kids at some of the other kids at my kids' school, or like maybe open up access to different kids different to learning or helping them with learning, because I think that's something that would actually really help the community.
mhm.
And it's kind of a lot in the book. It's like, don't think too much, just do it. It shouldn't be about ego. It should be, you should be able to evaluate who you're actually helping with what you're doing, kind of
Okay.
thing. It shouldn't just be about looking
Mhm.
like you're doing something. I don't know if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, doing for yourself. Mm.
Yeah, it talks about a lot of really cool case studies, like people who, lived on €10 a week and funneled all of their money into like buying mosquito nets for a certain community and ended up like eradicating malaria in a certain area and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
just quite inspiring that
Yeah, okay.
they're just a person, they could do that. So
Yeah, it just shows you that you can do good on like
yeah,
small level.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Okay,
Why
that's
not?
nice.
More ambition.
I like that.
What was your second one?
My second one is a novel, and this novel I think I read probably 4 years ago, and it is called Betty.
Mm-hmm.
Betty by Tiffany McDaniel. And this is just s- from from the beginning to the end it's just one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. It has everything. It's quite dark at times and quite, there's like violence in it that's quite difficult to experience when you're reading it. And it's a coming of age book of a girl who lives in this really rural landscape somewhere in Ohio, I think. And um, she is born into this family with a Cherokee father and a white mother. And she has like loads of brothers and sisters, but it's, they're living in a really poor environment. And so let's say the setting is like, has everything for it to be a quite, dramatic or sad novel. And the thing is that it really isn't at all. I mean, parts of it are heartbreaking and horrible. And I think I've cried a couple of times throughout the book because it's just so
Yeah.
strong. But Tiffany McDaniel is also a poet, and you can really tell in the way she writes. And this is actually the true story of her mother. It's really just like has beautiful language. And I think what I love most is that in the most difficult situations, this girl, Betty, she like finds a way out of that misery by writing. So I guess that's why I love it, because it's, I love writing. So that maybe um triggered me loving it. But
Yeah.
it's more about how she and her brothers and sisters, they imagine a world before she even starts writing. She imagines this world that just makes everything more beautiful. So it's just like everything is in her head. She's in a difficult situation. Like they have nothing in their house, but they'll, make up a place that they call the faraway place. And it's just this, yeah, I don't know, a couple of 100 meters from the house. It's just this platform of, I think, this wooden platform, or at least that's how I imagine it in my head. And they call it the faraway place. And so they always say like, oh, let's go to a faraway place. And then they go to that place. It's just outside their house. And that's where they play. And that's where they have
Mm.
all this imagination going on, and these stories that they tell each other, and these little mm, traditions that they have between her and her sisters. And it's just it's just incredibly beautiful. You just think like how great it is that you can have an escape to a horrible life by being resilient and by imagining something that is better for yourself.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds
So
really
yeah.
beautiful. I'll have to borrow it off you if you have it in English. That would be
Oh yes, yes. And then
yeah.
you'll do the show and tell on it.
I was
Oh
weeping. Oh, books make me cry so much. They can really like
yeah,
more than films, more than anything. I think when
yeah,
it's when something is really beautifully written, it's
yeah.
like wow. Or when
Yeah.
you read a sentences and you're like, how
Wow.
did you
Yeah,
craft that?
yeah.
It made me feel so much. It's amazing.
You know, I'm just thinking AI will never be able to do that.
No,
I
no,
really
no.
don't think so. I don't think AI can be that. I think it's like the essential thing. Sometimes when you read something that is written, that you've written yourself, you can just tell like there's another level to what you've written where
Yeah,
there's feeling and emotion. And
yeah,
when you have something written by a chatbot, it's just empty. Like there's this whole different dimension that is just missing, and I'm glad it is. You know what I mean? It's just like luckily it is, because I think
yeah,
only the human mind can write this kind of a book. Seriously, that's just yeah. I mean, only a genius human mind with just beautiful language. It's just, wow. So yeah,
okay.
this is
Betty.
coming your way.
ready to receive. I actually have a window of like 20 minutes on the train in the morning, 20 minutes on the train in the afternoon, because I spent
Oh,
such a big period not reading that much because I was just so
yeah,
tired when I got into bed. And that's
yeah.
when I kind of, so I can kind of, make good
I was going to
progress
ask
with
you
that.
about your routine. Like, have you always read books? Like, even when your kids were small, did you always manage to have a book that you were reading?
When they were small, I really had a period where I didn't, honestly, it was, and actually I really missed it because
Mm,
when I was a little kid, I read so much. Like I could sit and like read and read and read and read all evening, and then like yeah, with the Harry Potter books or with like
mm-hmm,
Valerie Towers. I don't know if you had those.
mm-mm.
It's like Enid Blyton books.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know those. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then read loads as a teenager. As a, like in your 20s, you just have so much fucking time,
Yeah.
so you can just read all the time.
True. Yeah.
But no, when my kids were small, I just didn't. I don't think I had the capacity. And I
Yeah.
also found I read some sad stuff, and it really like I just couldn't.
It's
I
too
just
much.
didn't have the
Mm,
capacity to handle
mm-hmm.
emotions and stuff, which was such a
Yeah.
shame. Now I'm getting back
Mm-hmm.
into like a pile of books that I've wanted to read, which
Same.
feels really good.
Yeah. Same for me. I would say because I've had this big chunk in my life where I've just had small children all the time. I did
Yeah.
read during pregnancy when I had some time off work before having like each of my babies, and I like that sometimes I remember a specific stage in my life. Um, and then I remember what book I read. This is what I said to you before
Yeah.
about, being on holiday. I really know what holiday I was on when I read Betty
Yeah, yeah.
by Tiffany McDonald. I know exactly. And that is the same for, I think, although I don't know which one of my kids it was, but I think my second, I read the biography of Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
I love biographies, autobiographies. I do love them.
Brittany.
Brittany, I did read Brittany. I mean, I just had to. It's not the same level as Michelle. But
It's
yeah,
great.
I
It was like, yeah, it
oh,
was great.
that's good, right? I mean, there's just a couple of books you just have to read. Just have to read because you have to read them. And we did talk about Giselle Pellicot, right?
I've
That
read
one as
it.
well.
Well, I read half
You read
of
it?
it.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I need to keep reading it after you talked about it on the last episode because you said
Yeah.
it's someone that you admire. Um, so Giselle Pellicot is the woman who's
Whose husband drugged her and had her raped and raped her. Yeah.
exactly, but
Um,
she's kind of had quite a, well, I'm sure like most people know about it, it's been a really public trial, but she chose not to be anonymous, and she kind of is now quite like an icon for having done that
Yeah,
because
she doesn't
she's
want to be, but she is an icon because she's been
yeah,
speaking out and she's been saying that, yeah, she shouldn't feel ashamed, but they should. And so that
exactly.
makes a lot of sense. I
Shame.
think this really fits into where society, especially women, are at the moment
Yeah, yeah,
in
for
our
sure.
societies.
For sure. But the book I did find, I actually listened to the audiobook.
Right.
Um, and I kind of found it
In
a
French.
bit difficult. Yeah, a
Yeah.
bit too difficult. Like I got to a point I was
Oh,
like, I can't listen to this anymore. It was just
okay.
so
Maybe reading is different.
heavy. Yeah,
I had at least like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, I think, in my life that I almost didn't read a book. Maybe one book a year or two books a year, but like not loads.
yeah,
Never
yeah.
on holidays. Like holidays used to be the time where I'd like read, and then, with the kids, like reading on a holiday. What? Never ever, unless you never do. You don't want to sleep or something. But
Yeah.
um, and now I've been back. It's been a couple of years back in the reading community and just loving it. Just so
Yeah.
many good books.
Too many, too many. But
Yeah,
it just feels so good, like to be
it's
back
like.
into it.
I tell my kids, now 2 out of 3 can read. I try to tell them when they're asking for like screen time and all. I'm like, but you could like, if you read a book, it's like making up a film in your head and you can make it how you want and it lasts for so much longer when it's a good one. Like every evening when you go to bed, like I
True.
actually
Yeah.
have this
Yeah,
you know, this shot of bit of like endorphins before I go to bed. I'm just like, oh yes, I'll be able to read my
yeah, yeah,
book.
yeah, yeah.
Love it. Just like,
So
and you
good.
do sleep well. And I mean, if I sound like such a millennial, did you have another one?
I had one more, yeah, and it kind of resonates with what you said about where you were in your life at that time.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's a book I read when I was 20, I think, or 21. It came out in 2008. And when I saw the year, I thought, oh, 2008, so it didn't come out that long ago. I was like, oh, wait, no, it was
Only 20 years.
20 years ago. Yeah, more. So it's called The Other Hand, and it's a book by Chris Cleave, who's like, he's a journalist too, but he's written a couple of books. There was one, I can't remember what it's called, but it was about the bombings in London,
Hmm.
which was made into a film.
Hmm.
Um, so I was the place I read this book, I was actually in Vietnam. I was like
Hmm.
living in Vietnam at the time, and then we traveled to Laos.
Hmm.
And I read this book there because I got like a really small version of it. I can't remember where I picked it up. And it's basically, I don't know, I was kind of in a context where like, you know, everything was foreign. It was quite like we were in nature. It was, yeah, everything was kind of jarring. And this book is really quite jarring. And I think it really stuck with me. Like, I remember finishing it and being like, I don't think I'll be the same again. um,
Cool. Is it a novel or is it like is it crime or whatever is it?
No, so well, it's a novel. It's basically it's a dual narrative. So it's a Nigerian asylum seeker, a really young girl, and a British magazine editor. So it's basically set in Nigeria, at an asylum center in the UK when there was like that
Oh,
big asylum kind of um crisis, I suppose, in Europe
yeah.
as well.
Okay.
And then also in kind of like suburban UK, suburban
Hmm.
England. I think it's like
Hmm.
Norwich. So basically these two characters, so like an older British woman who's kind of like a career woman at a magazine, a women's magazine, and this Nigerian girl meet during the Niger Delta conflict over oil in Nigeria. And it's
Hmm.
basically they have this like one meeting and everything stems like ripples out from there.
Okay.
Um, and it's kind of about the whole thing is kind of about like the choices you make and how you then have to live with them because
Hmm.
the journalist is kind of confronted with this situation. It's like on a beach in Nigeria, and she makes like a split second decision, and her husband's there too, and he makes a split second decision. It's kind of like all the ripples out from that. So I don't
Okay.
want to ruin
Oh,
it. Like
intriguing.
I don't want to ruin it because
G-
you need the
Good teaser.
yeah. I don't. If I tell you what happens on the beach, it's gonna kind of
I
ruin the
think you
story.
mentioned that book before. Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah, I did read it again quite recently, and it probably didn't have the same effect on me because
Mhm.
like 20 years older.
Yeah.
Um, there were also some parts where I was like, oh, you can tell this was written before Me Too, or you can tell this was
Oh,
written a
yes.
while ago.
Yes.
It was like, oh,
Yes.
she's like a career woman. She doesn't finish stories unless she's wearing Fendi heels, like that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
at the time, I was kind of like, oh, she's so cool. I want to be like her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah,
Yeah.
crazy
So
how that
no,
changes.
it's a good book. I mean,
Mm.
I've read some reviews, and I think because I was kind of looking back over it to talk
Hmm.
about it today, and some of the reviews were like, "Oh, the plot's a bit weak." Da da da. I loved the plot. I thought it was really good, and it was engaging enough, and you could connect to it enough. And I
Give it a
think,
new Amazon review or Good Books review.
yeah, maybe I will. 5 stars. When I was 20, I loved this book, but yeah, it, it just kind of stuck with me like for ages and
Nice.
ages.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah,
I
that's
get
what a
that.
good book does, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess because the guy who wrote it is a journalist as well, and you can really feel that come through in his writing. Like he talks
Hmm.
about world events and like people's emotions, and he kind of makes it into like a real story arc, you know, like you would read in a
Nice. Yeah.
there's an angle to it, do you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Nice.
maybe give it
Cool.
a read. I don't have it anymore, so I can't lend it to you, but I can.
Okay.
Bye.
But I wrote it down. now that we're talking about it, I have other ideas coming to mind. I'm like, oh, and that
Hit
one, I
me.
remember that one, and that one. It's really good. Maybe we can make a little list and do a post.
For sure. I think recently, quickfire, 2 books that I loved. Hello, Beautiful.
Oh yeah,
Easy reading.
I'm just now reading her new book.
Oh,
It's out. It's called Within Arm's Reach. It's
such
really
a good
good.
book. Yeah, such
Yeah,
a good book.
I'm
So
really liking it. Yeah, yeah,
easy reading, but
love it.
not badly written.
Yeah,
like not trash.
and it's written by Anne Napolitano, right?
Napolitano, yeah.
Yeah,
It's about like
it,
4 sisters in which part of the US are they in, isn't it?
it's like this Italian American family, right? Italian immigrants.
Oh yeah, I love that book. And the second one, On Beauty by Zadie Smith. I completely missed the boat with Zadie Smith. I didn't read it when
Yeah,
all her kind of novels came
yeah.
out, and I've not
You
actually
really liked it?
read it, but I really like it. Yeah,
Is
it's
it?
On Beauty. What about you? Have you got any
Cool.
quick fire titles?
Well, yeah, the Anne Napolitano. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the one that I read recently. I really liked. And then, but I forgot the name. A bit like Hello Beautiful, that kind of style books of usually women writers and stories about generations or women
yeah,
in
yeah,
general,
yeah.
families, like that kind of type of novel that, yeah, it's just like often resonates. It's just so interesting, really. People have relationships every day, and there's generations and there's stuff happening, and so I think it's more interesting than reading all the thriller stuff that I used to be into.
Yeah, do you not think it's through work as well? I feel like I know all the bad stuff that happens in the world. I don't need to
Yes,
go
true.
home
I
and
don't need
read about
more.
it again.
Yeah, it's probably, yeah, very probable.
Yeah, yeah. We can make a
Yeah.
list. We'll make a list of our top reads. Well, thanks for joining us, lovely listeners. It was good to be back.
Good to be
Year
back.
older, so much wiser from all these books we've read now.
Yes. Illuminated by a new light for me.
Exactly.
Making all those wrinkles disappear.
Literally and figuratively. Well, I'm going to let you go because this was a hell of a Wednesday for you.
Yes,
I imagine
let's get to bed.
Yes. And I'll see you on Saturday to smash out a High Rocks.
We
All
should.
right. Bye, everyone.
Cool.
Bye, Andy.
Bye.
Bye.